In this lecture, let us discuss the spectral properties of DO binary signaling. So, DO binary signaling is one kind of line codes. Okay, so before we enter into this, let us quickly recap what we have done so far in line coding. That is what we have learnt so far in line coding, right? So we have seen that if we do simple on off kind of signaling, we get a sync type of power spectrum, okay, that we already discussed in the previous class. It looks like this, and this is your output spectrum of your on off signaling. 0, this is going to be 2 pi by omega, 4 pi by omega, minus 2 pi by omega, minus 4 pi by omega, and so on and so forth. So the power spectrum contains both the continuous part. If you look at, this is the continuous part. Also it has the discrete part like this. Okay, so here also you have one discrete component. So in addition, we notice that the bandwidth of this is going to be 2f0. This is my bandwidth. So this 4 pi by this is not w, I am sorry, this is t0, t sub 0. If I consider the bandwidth is going to be the width of the main lobe, then the bandwidth is going to be 2 times f0. Okay, and this is called main lobe, and this is first side lobe, and this one is going to be second side lobe. Okay, so if you consider the bandwidth as the first main lobe width, then the bandwidth is going to be 2 times of f0. Okay, just I am only summarizing here and not go through all the things that we talked about various line coding schemes so far. Okay, so next we may recollect that we considered the polar signaling and bipolar signaling. Okay, polar cases and bipolar cases, and the kind of power spectrum for the transmitted pulse sequence that we obtained looks like this. This is my polar, right, and this point is 4 pi by capital T0, and this is my frequency. This is the spectrum Sy of omega bandwidth. Okay, and this is polar, and then for bipolar it looks like this, and then split phase, like this. Split phase. For if you look at the polar signaling, that is on off signal, the bandwidth is how much? 2f0, but it doesn't have the discrete spectra. If you look at the polar component, polar on off signaling scheme, there we didn't find any discrete component, and plus it doesn't have any strong DC component. See, this is omega is equal to 0. At omega equal to 0, we didn't find any DC component. But the bipolar case in which we did alternate mark inversion, EAMI, this is an example for bipolar signaling, and in which we have okay, so in EAMI, a 0 represented by 0 voltage level, no signaling, and 1 represented by either P of t or minus p of t. That's what we said for AMI, alternate mark inversion. And this AMI bipolar signaling has this kind of spectrum. Okay, and surprisingly it is not that surprising. I mean, okay, so if you look at the bipolar spectrum, surprisingly the bandwidth is how much? This is the bandwidth. The bandwidth is f naught. So for bipolar signal, the bandwidth is f naught, and this f naught is half of the bandwidth of your polar signal. So polar signal bandwidth is 2 times f naught, bipolar signal bandwidth is f naught. But again, this is not the minimum bandwidth. The minimum bandwidth is, theoretical minimum bandwidth is going to be f naught by 2. Okay, so and this f naught is, even it is the twice of the minimum, twice of the theoretical minimum. Okay, and that we will discuss what is the theoretical minimum. Okay, the theoretical minimum is f naught by 2. And now we would like to see whether we can improve this bandwidth f naught also. Even we think that f naught is also still high. As I said, minimum bandwidth one can use is f naught by 2. So this is twice of that one, and this f naught is twice of minimum bandwidth. Okay, so we will try to see is there any other signaling scheme such that it uses theoretical minimum bandwidth, because bandwidth is an important resource for a communication engineer. So we need to use the minimum bandwidth as much as possible. So till now we have discussed 3 schemes. The first one is polar signaling, that is on-off signaling, and then polar signaling, and then bipolar. Okay, now in this lecture, let me introduce yet another new scheme which we have not discussed so far. Okay, so okay, so we will come to this HDB code a little later, HDBN code a bit later. But before going to this HDBN code, I would like to discuss or introduce to you a new line coding scheme that is new. It is new to us, but it is known in very long time. Okay, it is fairly well known. Okay, it is called duobinary signaling. And this line coding scheme is particularly important because we will see that it helps us to achieve a bandwidth efficiency which is equal to that of the theoretical minimum bandwidth that we can expect. So the theoretical minimum bandwidth is f naught by 2. And this was originally proposed by Lender. Okay, this Lender is a very famous name in this particular line coding schemes in 1960s. And this duobinary signaling is also a ternary scheme. It is a ternary scheme, or you can say pseudo ternary scheme. Okay, notice we use no pulse for in pseudo ternary. If you notice, then we use no pulse for 0, and either you transmit p of t or minus p of t for digit 1. Okay, but the difference is as against the bipolar kind of signaling that we have done before, namely AMI. In AMI we typically use this, right? AMI kind of signaling, the bandwidth required is only half of that. In AMI bipolar signaling the bandwidth is f0, but here we need only f0 by 2. Okay, instead of f0 it will require f0 by 2. Okay, it will require the bandwidth of f0 by 2, and this f0 by 2 is half that of bipolar. So bipolar needs f0 bandwidth, and this duo binary needs only f0 by 2. Therefore bandwidth only half, f0 by 2 hertz. Now the basic scheme is as follows in duo binary signaling scheme. Now 0 is transmitted by no pulse, okay, and 1 is represented by a pulse shape pt or its negative. Either you transmit p of t or its negative, that is minus p of t. So whether you transmit p of t or minus p of t, this depends on the polarity of the previously transmitted pulse. Okay, that is number one. So this is one thing that determines what will be transmitted next. And also it depends on how many zeros have elapsed between the previously transmitted one and the one that you are doing now. Okay, so there are two things here. So polarity of the previous bit and how many zeros are there in between two ones. Okay, we do not actually count the number of zeros, but we are only interested in knowing whether the number of zeros is even or odd. Okay, suppose in case I have zeros in between, how many zeros do I have? Do I have even number of zeros or odd number of zeros? If I have even number of zeros, I will transmit in one way. If I have odd number of zeros, then I will transmit in another way. So for example, if the two ones, that is previous one and the current one, are separated by even number of zeros, then you transmit p of t. Even number of zeros, you transmit p of t. If it is odd number of zeros, then you transmit minus p of t. So the rule is very simple. So it depends on number of zeros, or more precisely whether it is an even number or an odd number between the two ones, that is two successive ones. Okay, so let us take the basic scheme, basic data sequence, and see how we can do this. Okay, so let me take 1 1 1, then this is, let's say this is my transmitted sequence, and then followed by 0 0 0. Maybe I can increase the grid view. Okay, let's say 1 1 triple 1, then triple 0, and then 1 1 0 1 double 0 1. So like this. Let's say this is my transmitted sequence, and then we want to transmit on the channel. Now let's say this is my interval length. Okay, like this, and now let me transmit. For example, for this one, let me transmit a half width pulse like this. Okay, and again for the next one I will transmit another half width pulse like that. Now in between this one and this one, how many zeros are there? Zero number of zeros. So zero number of zeros is an even number. So there is no change in polarity. This is p of t, and here also p of t. And then between this 0 and this 0, how many zeros are, sorry, between this one and this one, how many zeros are there? 0 number of zeros. So again 0 is an even number, right? 0 is an even number. So transmit P of t. So this guy also P of t. And now, as I said, if 0 comes, transmit no pulse. So it is 0 volt. And again 0 volt, right? And here also 0 volt. Now look at the thing very carefully. Now previously transmitted one is, this is the previously transmitted one, and this is going to be my current one now. In the current digit and the previously transmitted digit, in between, how many zeros are there? There are 3 zeros. So this 3 is an even number, right? Sorry, odd number. If it is odd number, then you have to change to minus P of t. That's what we said. For odd number of zeros, transmit minus P of t. Therefore, here you transmit minus P of t, right? And then again you are getting 1. So in between 1 and 1, these two ones, how many zeros are there? 0 number of zeros. And this 0 is an even number. Therefore, no change in the previously transmitted pulse. You transmit as it is, minus P of t. Minus P of t. And here you have 0. So transmit no pulse. No pulse. And then this is the previously transmitted one. And this one is current digit. And this current digit and previously transmitted digit, how many in between, how many zeros are there? Only 1 0. Only 1 0 means it is an odd number, right? Odd number means change the polarity. So here minus P of t, opposite of this, that is going to be minus P of t. And now 0 no pulse, transmit no pulse, 0 voltage. For this 0, transmit 0 voltage. And now if you look at, this is my previously transmitted digit and this is my current digit. In between, how many zeros are there? 2 zeros, even number. So don't change the polarity. The same, don't change the previously transmitted polarity of the signal. So you put like this. So that's how your DO binary signaling scheme looks like. And this is my one transmission interval. Okay, so obviously since the two ones are successfully same here, if you look at here, let me explain one more time. Now let us see here. Obviously this one and this one, two ones are successfully same. So there is no zero in between, right? There is no zero in between them, which indicates even number of zeros, because we consider 0 also to be an even number. Then the polarity remains same. So let me use some good color so that okay. So this signal and this signal polarity is not changed. Okay, so the polarity remains the same. Okay, and same is true here also. No change in polarity between this one and this one, even number of zeros, no change in the polarity. Okay, and as I said, zeros are transmitted by transmitting no pulse. So that is why this all 3 zeros are coming. Since we have 3 zeros here, in between this one and this one, next one, the polarity is reversed. Okay, so here the polarity is positive and here the polarity is negative. Polarity is reversed. Why the polarity is reversed? Because odd number of ones. Okay, and now again we transmit with the same polarity. See, this is negative polarity and this also negative polarity, because in between even number of zeros, between this digit and this digit even number of zeros. So therefore same polarity is transmitted for this guy. This guy is minus pt and this also minus pt, because in between these two guys 0, even number of zeros. So which is the case here. Now if you look at between these two digits, in between I have odd number of zeros. Therefore you reverse the polarity here. You reverse the polarity. Here the polarity is minus pt and here the polarity is pt. And now in between this one and this one, even number of zeros. So don't change the polarity. So same p of t here. That's it. So we keep on reversing the polarity depending on whether we have an odd number of zeros between two consecutive ones or an even number of ones. That's it. Okay. So if you look at here, we have even number of zeros, right? So we transmit same polarity p of t and here also p of t. Okay. And again if you look at between this digit and this digit, even number of ones. Again transmit the same polarity. Here also minus p of t and here also minus p of t. Same polarity. Even number, same polarity. Odd number, reverse polarity. To start with positive polarity. Okay. Now that's it about the duo binary signaling scheme. Okay. Now let us look at the power spectrum of such a scheme. So let's do the computation of output power spectrum, that is S y of omega. Now if you remember the steps required to compute the RAMs coefficients. Okay, so RAMs, that is we need to calculate R0, R1, R2 and so on. So let us do it. Now if you recall, this R0 will be determined by summation of AK square over K, and as I said, this AKs are AK is equal to 0 for half the time and AKs are 1 for half the time. That means they are with equally likely, they have equal probability. They are equally likely. Okay, and this 1 occurs half of the time plus 1 and half of the time minus 1. Okay, because we are assuming again that the original data sequence contains zeros and ones with the equal probability. That means probability of AK is equal to 0 is 1/2 and probability of AK is equal to 1 is 1/2, and this 1 is when you do the line coding, either it takes plus p of t or minus p of t. Okay, so let's say plus p of t means let's say plus 1. This is a binary digit and this also binary digit, and this is a voltage actually. Okay, it can be plus 1 volt or minus 1 volt or minus 5 volt or plus 5 volts, something like this. Okay, so this 1 can be represented by either positive voltage or negative voltage depending on the number of zeros in between the consecutive ones. That's all. Okay, don't confuse. So therefore 0 occurs half of the time and bit 1 occurs half of the time. That is our assumption, our old assumption. Okay, therefore when you substitute ak squared, then I can have the 4 combination. It can be 0 0, 0 1, 1 0 and 1 1. Okay, if I take ak is equal to 0, then 0 times ak squared is equal to ak times ak, or I don't take this one, I don't want to confuse, leave it. So ak can take 0 or 1, therefore ak squared is equal to 0 square and 1 square. Anyway, this 0 square will not give any contribution, so let us consider only 1. Therefore ak squared is equal to 0 half of the time and 1 half of the time, right? So 0 occurs with the probability half and 1 occurs with the probability half. Okay, therefore R0, if you recall the formula, T0 by 2 times, we are considering the interval from minus T0 to plus T0. Okay, so T0 by T, recall this formula from the previous lecture. Okay, T0 by T times, how many pulses do I have in between in this interval? In this interval, how many pulses? I have T by T, because each pulse has the width of T0. Okay, so let me consider minus T2 plus T, where T goes to infinity. Okay, this is my total duration, or let us say minus T by 2 to plus T by 2. So in this total width is capital T. Total length is equal to T, and the how many pulses do you have in this total length? How many pulses? That is a question. So that is going to be total length divided by the pulse width. Pulse width is T naught. Therefore number of pulses. So therefore R0 is equal to T0 by T. In this number of pulses, half of the time you are getting 0 and half of the time you are getting 1, because of this assumption. Okay, therefore the number of pulses is going to be T by T0, and in that 0 occurs half of the time plus 1 occurs half of the time. So if you simplify this, it is going to be 1 by 2. This is R0. Okay, so half of the pulses or half of the symbols in this interval minus T by 2 to plus T by 2 will contribute this much probability. Okay, now consider next the value of R1, which will be determined by summation of AK times AK plus 1. Okay, so therefore let's concentrate on the behavior of or the values of AK and AK plus 1 and summation over K. Okay, and this is a little more involved to compute this R1. Let us see. It is quite clear that each of them will contribute a non-zero value. AK times AK plus 1 will contribute a non-zero value only if they are both non-zero. Okay, so see, in principle AK can take the value 0 and plus 1 and minus 1. Okay, and don't confuse this plus 1 indicates voltage level. Okay, signal level, don't confuse with the binary level. This also voltage, and plus 1 minus 1 represents bit 1, and this 0 represents bit 0. Therefore my signal amplitude can be either plus AK. What is AK? AK is the amplitude of the pulse, right? Or it can be 0 volt, or it can go down to minus AK. Therefore this AK can take 3 values. That's what in the beginning itself I told you, it is a ternary signal. It takes 3 values: plus positive voltage, negative voltage, and 0 voltage. Therefore my AK can take the value of 0 voltage, or positive voltage, or negative voltage. The 0 voltage, let me denote it by 0, and positive voltage, let me denote it by plus 1. It's an assumption. You can choose plus 5 volt or plus 10 volt, whatever it is. To make the life very simple, we are assuming plus 1 here, and this we are assuming minus 1 here. Therefore AK can take values 0 or plus or minus 1. Now as I said, this 0 voltage represents bit 0, and this bit 0 occurs with the probability of how much? 1 by 2. And bit 1 occurs with the probability of 1 by 2. Half of the time bit 1 occurs, and half of the time bit 0 occurs. Therefore plus or minus 1 volt 1 also occurs with the probability of half. So the next important point is probability of AK is equal to 0 is half, and the probability of AK is equal to plus or minus 1 is also half, and this plus or minus 1 indicates voltage levels, and this 0 indicates voltage levels, no pulse. Okay, so this 0 volt indicates bit 0, and this plus or minus 1 indicates bit 1. Why are we using plus or minus 1 here? Because bit 1 is represented by either plus P of t or minus P of t. That's what your DO binary coding scheme does. Okay, therefore from the elementary knowledge of probability theory, if you assume AK and AK plus 1 symbols are emitted independently of each other. So your source emits data. First it emits 1, and then it emits the next symbol 0, and then 1 0 0 like this. Let's say this is my AK, and AK plus 1, and AK plus 2, AK plus 3, and AK plus 4. Previously transmitted one symbol, let's say 0, and this is AK minus 1. So AK minus 1 is independent of AK, and AK is independent of AK plus 1. AK minus 1 is independent of AK plus 2. AK is independent of AK plus 2. These are independent assumptions. So the source emits the data independently. So there is no correlation. Okay. Therefore AK and AK plus 1, that means current digit and the next digit. Current pulse, next pulse. In terms of digit, I can say current digit and the next digit. These two guys are independent of each other. That's the assumption of our source. Okay. Therefore, as I said, the probability of AK is equal to plus or minus 1 is equal to how much? Half. Similarly, the probability of AK plus 1, this also can take 3 values, right? As I said, AK can take the values of 0, plus or minus 1. Similarly, AK plus 1 also can take 3 values, 0 or plus or minus 1. So plus or minus 1 is again 1 by 2. And as I said, of course, these two events are independent of each other, and therefore what is the probability of both of them being non-zero? Okay, so AK can take 0 plus 1 minus 1, and AK plus 1 can take 0 plus 1 and minus 1. Now the question is, what is the probability that the product of AK and AK plus 1 is non-zero? When will I get non-zero value? Let us assume two cases. Case 1. Okay, so what we are trying to say is AK times AK plus 1 is equal to 1. When will I get this one? So AK times AK plus 1 is equal to 1 only for half of the time or half of the cases. For AK is equal to plus or minus 1 and 0 for the other half. We will now explain this, no problem. Okay, so the assumption is that the successive values of binary symbols that are being emitted by the source are being emitted independently of each other. Okay, so AK is independent of AK plus 1. Therefore, in this case, if you calculate, it is going to be 1 by 4. We will see how this 1 by 4 is coming. Okay, now as I said, let me take case 1. Let me start with AK is equal to, I can take 0, but if I take 0, then product will be 0, no use. Okay, don't consider AK is equal to 0, it's useless. Okay, so let me start with the minus 1. Suppose AK is equal to minus 1. Now what do you think AK plus 1 is going to be? Next bit. In between there can be 0 or 1 second. AK times AK plus 1. We assumed AK is equal to minus 1. This is assumption. Okay, assume AK is equal to minus 1. So minus 1. AK plus 1 can be 0 or AK plus 1 can be, what could be? It can be minus 1 or plus 1. Minus 1 and plus 1. Out of these three combinations, which is not possible? This one is not possible. Why? Because let's say this is my current digit. Current digit is encoded by negative bits minus P of t. This is my AK. AK plus 1 can be a 0. This is one possibility. Or let's say this is my current digit. So the next digit is 0. Sorry. So the next, see, this is current digit is 1 and next digit is 0. So bit 0 and bit 1 and bit 0. And this bit 1 is indicated by minus P of t. Let us assume. And the next bit is 0. 0 is indicated by 0 volt, no pulse. In case the next bit is 1, then what is going to happen? You don't change the same pulse you transmit. In between 0, even number of zeros. Even number of zeros. Even number of zeros means don't change the polarity. Minus P of t and here also minus P of t. So therefore this also minus 1 and this also minus 1. So minus 1 comma 0 is possible, minus 1 comma minus 1 is possible, but minus 1 comma plus 1 is not possible in duo-binary line coded scheme. Okay, see, I cannot draw the waveform like this. Let me draw here. Bit 1 and bit 1. For bit 1 I cannot use For this one, let me use minus p of t, and here I can't use plus p of t. This is wrong as per the duo binary coded line coding scheme. So I cannot use. Therefore, only these two combinations is going to contribute. Combinations are going to contribute. And out of these two combinations, which will give non-zero value? This minus 1 comma minus 1 will give the non-zero value. Minus 1 times minus 1 is equal to plus 1. Similarly, suppose you start with ak is equal to plus 1. Then what is going to happen? Let's say this bit is 1. Next bit can be 0. So plus 1 means positive voltage. So therefore, you put a positive pulse, and then 0 means no pulse. This is one possibility. Or you can have 1 and the next bit also 1. This is ak and this is ak plus 1. Possibility. So therefore, you start with 1. What about the next pulse? Same polarity. Don't change the polarity, because in between we have even number of zeros. Even number of zeros, right? Therefore, ak times ak plus 1 can take value. We assumed 1 here. So 1, here also 1, and here also 1. The next bit can be 0, no signal, or plus 1 or minus 1. But this minus 1 is not possible as per the duo binary coding scheme. So this is possible and this is possible. But if this guy gives 0 contribution, product of 1 and 0 is going to be 0, no use. So take this guy, 1 times 1, it is 1. So from the second case, I am getting only one non-zero value. So there are 4 possibilities, right? Minus 1 comma 0, minus 1 comma minus 1, plus 1 comma 0, plus 1 comma plus 1. So these are the 4 possibilities. So among these 4 possibilities, only these 2 possibilities give the non-zero value. Okay, and this guy occurs with a probability of 1 by 8, and this occurs 1 over 8, 1 over 8, and this also 1 over 8. Okay, and this is mutually exclusive events, because these events are mutually exclusive events. Therefore, you can add the probability. So ak times ak plus 1 is going to give 1. So this event occurs with the probability of 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8, that is 1 by 4. Okay. Therefore, what is the formula for R1? R1 is equal to T0 by T summation over AK times AK plus 1 and K. Now this is T0 by T within a bracket. What is the total duration? Minus T by 2 to plus T by 2. So the total width is T. Okay, so the total width is T. So how many pulses do you have in this total width? How many pulses? If you count it, it will be total length is T divided by T naught pulses. So out of T naught by capital T number of pulses, this is total number of pulses. Out of this total number of pulses, I am getting 1 by 8 times of 1, right, plus 1 by 8 times of 0, and let's say this comes from minus 1 comma minus 1, and this comes from minus 1 comma 0. Minus 1 times 0, it is going to be 0, plus 1 by 8 times of 1 by 8 times of 0, let's say plus 1 comma 0, and then 1 by 8 times of 1, and this comes 1 comma 1. 1 into 1, 1. 1 times 0, 0. Minus 1 times 0, 0. Minus 1 times minus 1, this one. Okay, and in this survives and this guy survives, and these two will vanish. So therefore T naught 0 by T t within a bracket 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8. So I'm sorry, what did I do? I did a mistake. This is t by t naught. See, this one. Okay, and this will get cancelled, so it is 1 by 4. R1 is equal to 1 by 4. Okay, and don't consider the case when ak is equal to 0, then again it is useless, right? Ak plus 1 is equal to 0 plus or minus 1, then you have the possibilities like 0 plus 1, 0 minus 1, then 0 comma 0. Anyway, this product is going to give you 0 value, so it is not going to give any non-zero value. So don't consider this case, no need to consider. We can leave that. Okay, similarly, if you calculate R2, then it gives 0 and R3 also 0. Therefore, Rn is equal to 0 for n is greater than or equal to 2. Or I can say Rn is equal to 0 for n greater than 1. I can put greater than or equal to or greater than 1, whatever way you can write. You can write. That's it. Okay, I think you can do this. Okay, this is also pretty straightforward. By the similar argument you can calculate. Therefore, R0 is equal to 1 by 2 and R1 is equal to 1 by 4 and R2 is equal to R3 is equal to ... is equal to 0. Okay, now let us calculate the output power spectrum. Sy of omega is equal to, we know the formula, P of omega mod square divided by T naught, and then I have this spectrum. What is that spectrum? Sx of omega. Okay, so this is going to be P of omega mod square divided by T naught, and this is going to be R0 plus 2 times, if you remember this formula from the previous lecture, it is going to be n is equal to 1 to infinity Rn cos of n omega T naught. This we already derived this formula for Sx of omega, recall that, and substitute the values for R0 and R1. P of omega mod square T naught, then 1 by 2 plus 2 times 1 by 4. This Rn is 1 by 4, or you can substitute here inside. 1 by 4 cos n omega T naught. Okay, and in this only one guy is going to give the contribution where n is equal to 1, therefore the sigma will also disappear. Okay, in this only one non-zero value, that is R1, therefore 2 times 1 by 4 cos of omega T0. Again, if we simplify this, P of omega square mod square divided by 2 T naught 1 plus cos of omega T0. So let's simplify it further. Okay, 1 plus cos omega T0 can be written as 2 times cos squared omega T0 by 2. Therefore, it is P of omega squared divided by T0 times cos squared of omega T0 by 2. Okay, now if you consider the specific pulse shape, like we have been doing, remember the pulse shape that we have been most commonly using for comparison purposes is the half width rectangular pulse. So we will come back to that again. So that is this particular rectangular pulse, then we get a sinc square function. Okay, so your p of t is going to be pi times t by t0 by 2. So this you represent mathematically like this. Pi is the notation for rectangular pulse. Now if you take Fourier transform, we know this Fourier transform p of omega, you will get a sinc pulse. Okay, so therefore p of omega is a sinc pulse. Directly substitute in this equation. So that is, let me write down the final answer. T0 by 4 sinc squared of omega t0 by 4 pi cos squared of omega t0 by 2. This is the power spectrum. Okay, this is the power spectrum of a duo-binary coded scheme. Okay, that is duo-binary coded data signal. So the first thing you notice that it has a 0 at where do we have 0 in this expression? At what point it crosses 0? Cos of omega t0 by 2. At what point it crosses 0? This I have to get 0. When you substitute omega is equal to pi by t0, then it is crossing 0. So that is interesting, right? Our first 0 crossing in the spectral plot will now be at f0 by 2, not at f0. Okay, so therefore sy of omega is equal to 0 at omega is equal to pi by t0. So for all the spectral shapes, all the pulse shapes we discussed had their first 0 crossing actually determined by the sinc squared function. Okay, because we did have the multiplication factor in some other schemes, but the first 0 crossing always came at either f0 or 2f0, not at f0 by 2. This is the first scheme we are seeing, that is the first 0 crossing result at f0 by 2. Okay, you take this sinc square function and the cos square function and find out at which point this cos square function touches the 0 for the very first time, or this guy touches 0, because cos 90 is 0, right? You can substitute, or you can take sinc function. Therefore we can expect the main lobe to have a width of f0 by 2 on either side of 0. That's precisely what we got here. Now let me plot the duo binary signal. So the duo binary signal comes like this. Okay, and this is f0 by 2 and this is f0. If you take bipolar, then let's say this is 3f0 by 2 and this is f0. This is duo binary. If you take bipolar, it is like this, and bipolar, and this is full width pulse, duo binary full width pulse. If you take half width pulse, duo binary half width pulse, then it is going to be like this, and this green color is again duo binary, but we are considering half width pulse. Okay, therefore its first 0 crossing is at f0 by 2 and the next occurs at 3f0 by 2. Okay, and the green color is duo binary half width and this one is duo binary full width. and this green color comes from this expression. Which expression? This expression. So from this expression we are getting this green color curve. Now although it seems that we have achieved what we want to achieve, there is a small problem that you can notice. Before that, let me justify how we got this f naught by 2. Take omega t0 by 2, this is equal to, I need pi, because cos pi is 0, right? No, cos pi by 2, and this and that will get cancelled. So 2 pi f t naught is equal to pi will get cancelled, f is equal to 2 by t naught, right? Oh my god. I had some problem, let us see. 2 f naught, okay, so this is not okay. Sinc square function, sin x by x, right? So sine of omega t0 by 4 pi, and this is I have to get pi. I think you can work out this. So if you do that, actually you'll get f is equal to f naught by 2 at which the first crossing occurs. You take the definition of your sinc function, right, in terms of sin pi x by pi x in this format, or then you get the result. You can work on it. Okay. Now if you look at this waveform, the second lobe is not small. Okay, although it seems that we have achieved what we want to achieve, there is a small problem that you can notice, right? What is the problem? The problem is that the second lobe is not all that small as compared with the second lobes of bipolar or other schemes. Therefore, it seems that if what is the problem if I have larger side lobe? Because the power will be wasted in that, energy will be wasted. It takes significant amount of energy, right? So it seems that significant energy is still seem to exist between this f naught by 2 and beyond. However, that is not a very serious problem. Why? Because we have only used one of the things that our disposal. Namely, we are trying to control the spectral shape by the coding scheme. Okay, coding scheme only so far. We did not try with the pulse shape. So see, if you take Sy of omega is equal to P of omega mod square divided by T naught times your Sx of omega. So till now we controlled only this Sx of omega through coding scheme. Now there is one more guy. This is the Fourier transform of the pulse P of t. If I do something on P of t, then also I can control the spectrum of output signal. Okay, so therefore to show that what kind of things we can do by controlling the pulse shape, we will discuss that in detail soon after discussing the various basic line coding schemes, that the output spectrum can be controlled not only with this input power spectrum but also with the pulse power spectrum. So here I have plotted DO binary scheme spectrum. So when you take the pulse not to be half width pulse, okay, but if you take the full width pulse, this one full width pulse spectrum, then what do we notice now is this full width pulse indicates the spectrum of the rectangular pulse of width T0 full width pulse. And what we find is that the side lobe levels have considerably got reduced compared to the half width pulse. So this green color is little higher, and if you take green color, this is little higher, and the full width pulse is slightly lower. The point that I made here is that not that we should use the full width rectangular pulse. You may or you may not use it, but the important point is that one can control the side lobe through proper pulse shaping. Okay, this is full width pulse, and if you take half width, then half width is, I'm sorry, let me use a different color. Half width will be like this, like this. For half width, side lobe level is bigger, larger as compared to the full width. Okay, this curve indicates full width, pink color. If you look at the full width pulse, the side lobe level is lesser. So what is the moral of this story between the half width and full width? If you change the width of the pulse, or if you change the shape of the pulse, then there is a possibility to reduce the side lobe level. When you reduce the side lobe level, what will you achieve? You are controlling the energy, you are reducing the transmitted energy. You are not going to put the energy unnecessarily in the side lobe level. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we have to use rectangular pulse of half width or full width. You can use some other pulse shape and then control the side lobe, and therefore maintain the bandwidth essentially f0 by 2, in the region f0 by 2. Okay, so that's it as far as the spectrum of DO binary coded signal is concerned. Okay, so in the next lecture let us discuss the DO binary scheme in some more detail. Okay, so what are the advantages and the disadvantages of this DO binary signaling scheme, and then we will continue from there onwards. Thank you very much.